Good morning, YouTube. I just wanted to come on here real quick and give y'all a little how-to video. I have been MIA. I apologize, but I've been researching. So what I'm going to be getting into today is how to approach the investigator general, because a lot of people talk about EO. I'm sure there are some videos on here about EO and behavioral health. Those are resources within the military to talk about equal opportunity and human rights within the workplace, and making sure that you are doing your part to maintain a healthy, productive work environment, whether that is reporting misconduct or educating yourself so that you are individually a better team player. So some things that I want y'all to know, because I just picked up this book and I think it's great. It's actually called the Department of the Army Inspector General 2023 Training Booklet. So this is actually above my pay grade. This is not even within my realm of responsibility. However, it is a brigade and battalion command, team, and staff training booklet. So this booklet will prepare you to be a better leader once you do reach the upper echelon. Some things I want y'all to know if y'all are going to go in and attempt to report an IG complaint, whether it's about retaliation or an isolated incident. You need to know that an IG complaint is composed of 4 components. Number 1, protected communication, which is information about a formal, informal, or anonymous complaint. 2, which is the personnel action, which is an action that has been taken upon you as an individual soldier, which could be a positive personnel action, which is like a promotion or something, or a negative personnel action, which is for instance, a separation from service packet being initiated on your behalf. Number 3, knowledge. Knowledge is your awareness. It is kind of, in this instance, think of it as a tool. Do you have information about these private communications? All of these will have to do with each other. And so number 4, you have to be sure that you can connect and advocate or express a causation. So long story short, you need to have your story straight when you go into these agencies, when you go into these buildings, when you go into this arena, and this is what you want to do. So these are how they all go together. A protected communication is initiated. Let me give you a scenario. A protected communication is initiated whether somebody files a private, I'm not sure about the types of complaints, but I know that for sure in this book they have an example called a formal complaint. So I'm assuming that they have an informal complaint. Once that is filed, especially if there is one filed against your chain of command, then like your chain of command being your first sergeant or your commander, those people will be notified. So you can just keep your eyes and ears open around your workplace, and you can hear the conversations that are going on. For example, I was advised by my first sergeant to file an EO complaint against against what I believe to be a wrong that was done against me. And so he was aware of this protected communication. He was aware that it was a formal one. And number 2, he pulled me into a meeting directly after he advised me to file a complaint, and was aware that that's what I was going to pursue, both by my consent, my agreement, and 2, by being notified about said complaint. Because I also, when you go into an EO office, an equal opportunity office, you can choose to have it a formal or an informal. So I did a formal complaint, but they also give you the option to handle it at your company level or battalion or brigade level. So I decided I would like to keep it at a company level because this was an instance that I feel like just it required rehabilitation, and that was just honestly what I was seeking. Rehabilitation. I was not trying to ruin anybody's career. So in said meeting, after I filed said complaint, I was told by my first sergeant that he is tired of hearing about me, and if I do anything else, that he will initiate a separation packet. And he physically showed me the packet and told me he's gonna sit it on his desk, and the moment anything else gets added to it, he's gonna submit it. So this is something that I didn't pay attention to at the time. I was grateful for the opportunity because I know my past and I have made plenty of rookie mistakes. So I decided that I made the educated guess that, educated assumption that I would not be in trouble again. All because 6 months prior to that, keep in mind, this is at my 2 years in service mark, including basic and AIT. So I had been there for a year and some months, or at least a year. I had made plenty of rookie mistakes in that time. But 6 months prior to this meeting, I had 0 counselings within that time frame. And then the following 6 months, I had 0 counseling. So I'm like, I knew I could do that. So leading up to this time, I was feeling okay. I was feeling safe. And then I had been having issues with my first sergeant and his unproductive leadership style. He's very emotional, and that spills over into his work persona. Everybody has to hold space for his emotions, which is cool. However, we're all about equality and fairness. And if you feel like you want to emotionally outburst on people, then I think that you should expect people's feedback, respectful feedback. So we had an exchange where he started getting emotionally riled up and disrespectful. So that's hard for me to hear. You know, I turned my head. No, I'm not gonna talk about all of that. But he had an emotional conversation where he was getting riled up, and I'm taking it as best as I could. I'm still doing what I should, which is, standing at parade rest, listening, and maintaining a respectful posture. However, he tells my sergeant at the end, I'm tired of her effing mouth, go counsel her. And that was simply to a question, why is it so hard to take care of me and not hard to take care of others? Which that is just my, that's just my feedback. That is 2 years of buildup of resentment and mistreatment, honestly. So that counseling got put into the packet, and then 2 more people lied on me and my performance. And so he put that into a packet and he submitted the packet. And so I went on leave. I came back and the packet was the first thing waiting for me. He sneakily handed the packet to my commander and had my commander counsel me. Went above my sergeant, my platoon leader, straight to the commander. And so he is supposed to be leaving literally tomorrow. And I just knew this was it was like a vendetta against me, because you're leaving in 5 days. However, you carry on a project that's not going to affect you, a project that has been even denounced by our command sergeant major. This has no value, and it has evil intentions to overshadow my career with one-off instances that everybody is allowed to have. Everybody is allowed to make mistakes. Everybody is entitled to outstanding leadership. And you are allowed to question it. You are allowed to give feedback. You are allowed to cooperate with it. You're not just a slave, right? So I knew that there was a personal vendetta against me. What did I do about it? I just disagreed with the counseling. I told my commander, thank you for your time. I told my sergeant, thank you for your time. My first sergeant, he would have got a thank you as well. But he had walked out of the room by this time. However, he did verbally counsel me. So I took note of that. And then I thought about all the things that have been happening, the meetings that I have had. I heard that someone has filed an anonymous ICE complaint mentioning my name. And it was about misconduct in general coming from our leadership. I was notified of that while I was on leave, which was a week prior to this meeting where I got counseled and told that I would be investigated for misconduct within the workplace. And this misconduct is stuff like, figuring out how to show up to a movement. And, you could be 3 minutes late to a movement. It's an FTR. Or, being there in formation, on time, never out of uniform, never really FTR, never really out of uniform. However, this is just the leadership style. So getting adjusted to not being able to make mistakes, right? They're trying to show us how to be more professional and accountable. Understood. However, these are just people literally putting things on paper with no follow-up action, no real observation of your soldier, and in general not using soldiers to the best of their abilities. Like, you got to know your soldiers' strong suits and stuff. So I felt like it was unjustified, and so I didn't ask any questions. And we had already had plenty of meetings where we were trying to understand each other and come to a common ground, which they never amounted to anything. So I decided, what do I do with this information? I know something is wrong. And then I thought about how service members that have come before me have fought to ensure that the right structure is set in place for human rights, for equal opportunity rights and fairness, because of where we come from as an army and in general as a part of American history. I went back to EO and I discussed this situation. Well, I informed the EO soldier advocate rep that this is a scenario that happened to me, and they let me know that if that's how I felt, then these are the resources that I actually need to use. And so I thought about it. And then I went to my command sergeant major, who I had confided in prior. I had told him initially when I was sat down in a meeting with my first sergeant about the EO complaint that I had filed. When I had that meeting and I was told that, oh, you have one more thing, I felt insecure. I felt uncomfortable. I felt unsafe. So I talked to my command sergeant major, who is, in my eyes, a mentor, a form of support. He is, and the reasons why is he is a professional, number one, and he is comfortable in his Black identity, number two, which is something that's really important for me because I am comfortable within my Black identity. And it's something so distressing for a lot of people, because in America we really strive to align with white supremacy and white beauty standards. So it's important for me that I go somewhere and I listen to people and I work with people who are able to see me fully for who I am and see the value in my perspective. So I relied on him as a leader, a mentor. I went to him, I confided in him about how I felt after that meeting. He let me know that if I have any more issues to come back to him, and he calmed my anxiety a little bit. He informed me that, you know, this is not something you need to stress out about, because this is the process and I can understand where you're coming from. Let me tell you what this is. So we concluded that meeting. I felt content. I felt safe. He told me to continue doing the best that I can, and that's exactly what I did. So when these false counselings, it was 3 to be exact, 3 false counselings that I was told that I would get the chance to be properly counseled on and write my remarks into when we get back from NTC, to be exact. I was in California at NTC in the middle of Railhead when I was counseled on paper about these instances that I did not believe to be true. All I had time to do was disagree with the remarks. However, I did not have the time to talk to my sergeant to inform him about what I wanted to write down what I wanted to write. I barely had a pen. So it was stressful. I felt wronged, of course. And when I got back, that packet was put together. Those remarks were put into there. I was not given the opportunity to fully and properly be counseled. So naturally, I went back to my command sergeant major and I'm like, hey, I don't see this situation getting any better. I've done I've taken the tools that you have told me about. I have utilized them. I have been doing everything that I know that I should be doing as a soldier, because at this point it's going on 3 years. I know what I should be doing as a soldier, and I'm able to advocate for myself. Now, I didn't over exaggerate and make it seem like he was overly critical of me. I kept the tone very professional, but I told him that what is going on, basically. And he came up with the idea that you can do this. If you want to file an EO complaint, you can also go and just move units, because I understand where you're coming from. And it's just a mismatch of leadership style with the way you work as a professional. I am a very professional person, especially in these corporate spaces. You really have to be, as a Black person, you are under a microscope, under a lens that no one else is. You have to be professional. And so I feel like I constantly get played with. And basically, I told him about the situation. So that's how everything has played out. That's what I've been dealing with in the background. And I am officially moving units. However, if I could do it all over again, because another thing he told me in that meeting is that if you were to file an IG complaint at the day that he is leaving, this is how it would look. So I decided I didn't want to look unprofessional or petty. And I was grateful for just the opportunity, because really, when it boils down to it, what he did, I felt like he was coming for my career, and the vengeful side of me wants to come back for his career, because you are 18 years in service and you should know better. So I wanted to have him removed from my ranks. Seriously, I think it's a serious issue, and I have had post-traumatic stress from these issues. I have experienced that every time I'm around him. I mean, everything. I decided that I would not file the IG complaint. However, I am confident that my interaction, this whole situation, applies to IG, because one, he had a protected communication. He knew about the EO complaint. He advised me to do it because it was the right thing to do, but he really didn't feel comfortable and did not appreciate me reporting one of his soldiers, one of his favorite soldiers. 2, he took the unfavorable personnel action against me based on that EO complaint. After that EO complaint, he was fed up with me, right? He told me that if I do one more thing, he's gonna separate me, right? And he knew about And so he knew that this was his plan. He knew that this was what he planned to do, which was unfavorable and it was unwarranted. However, it was just an overreaction. He knew that everything that had to do with this personal action, he knew how bad it would hurt me and how it was not proportionate to the event. And so number 4, is this personnel action, i.e. the separation packet, caused by an equal opportunity complaint or private communication? Yes, it was caused. This EO caused him to be over the edge with me to the point that he wanted so badly to kick me out, and he put me on a PIP plan, which is a performance improvement plan. That's what we're going to call it. However, he was just waiting. He put everything together after this EO complaint. That is a personnel action. He put me a packet together. And so when I did one more thing, he filed that packet, even though it was not proportionate to what happened. So what happened was, we got done with NTC, and this is the booklet. I got these steps directly from the booklet, y'all. Take a screenshot if you need to. Let me see. You got causation, knowledge, personnel action, and protected communication. It's all in here. This booklet is not long. This is page 4, so it's straight to the point, y'all. What happened was, I had got into a disagreement with him. He did not appreciate me choosing to ask about taking leave right after a formation where we concluded NTC. Verbatim, he told us NTC is complete. Everybody's joking around and having a good time. We're all socializing. And I make sure to network so that I can get my business taken care of. It's my birthday. I'm going to see my family. Like, I have family in multiple states, so I want to do a tour. I want to see everybody, because I have been sleeping outside at NTC for 30 days, right? And this is not something I just sprung on him. I had asked him before, because he's the only one who knows the training calendar. He doesn't allow our NCOs to be NCOs, right? So they are they're underperforming. My NCO could not help me with my leave situation. So I respectfully, jokingly, because he's a jokester, you know, I approached him in his way, politely. Hey, First Sergeant, I think I'm ready to take leave. Like, especially because I had volunteered during the block leave of our unit. I had volunteered to stay back and watch the company, because that's something we needed. We needed 4 volunteers. I knew that, hey, I want to take leave during this time, and I informed my platoon leadership. However, they're just so incompetent that this is what I wanted to do for my birthday. I informed them. So for them to not advocate for me, it's very frustrating that the communication is not working. The chain of command is not aware of their soldiers at the bottom and meeting their needs. So, right, back on the topic. I informed him prior to leaving for NTC that I would like to take leave after NTC, and he told me he would get back with me, that he doesn't know if the dates that I want will work. And the only reason why I'm initiating this conversation, I'm not trying to be on nobody's nerves, but I need to know the training calendar, because we had just got a new commander months prior. However, the commander and the first sergeant have not pushed out a training calendar, so I need to know if my dates are okay. So I'm just respectfully asking, because I know this is going to affect everybody if I were to take leave. I'm respectfully asking, are these dates available for me to take leave? Will that be okay? He told me to put a pause on it, which I did. I worked my butt off for those 30 days. We even got amazing remarks at the end. And So naturally, you know, I want to celebrate too. Like, I'm the one soldier who has been on these missions. I have been on the real head details. Like, that's a lot of work. So I want to celebrate my birthday. I want to go, you know, go all out for myself. I want to treat myself. I am very great at grounding and treating myself. You know, that's something I had to learn from a very young age, right? I know how to do it. I know what I need. I communicated that. So I communicated this with him, and he got so frustrated, and he did not want to help me. He told me that he doesn't know if those dates are gonna work. So I'm like, okay, cool. You don't know. You don't know. That means nobody else knows. All right, bet. What I'm gonna do at this point, because I know I need to comply with y'all's system, right? Y'all want my leave to be submitted 14 days prior to when I want to take it, so that y'all can like approve or work with it, whatever you want to do. So then I asked my platoon leader if she has a computer. She tells me no, but the commander may have one. And so I talked to the commander and I asked him, may I speak with you when you get a chance? Because he's speaking to all the soldiers. There's no barrier at that point. He's speaking to all the soldiers. And he tells me, yeah, I'll talk to you in a little bit. My commander is black, all right? But he's whitewashed, so we'll get to that. But he tells me, yeah, I'll talk to you. Give me a minute. And so the first sergeant comes back around. He's like, no, you can't talk to him. Talk to him tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. Roger, sergeant. Roger, first sergeant. So I go back to my platoon and we're all hanging out. We're joking around, chilling. We're in like a formation kind of thing, but we're outside. We're working on a task. And so we're gathered. But it's a lighthearted moment because we're done. We're doing the light work. We're packing up. We're having conversations. We're having fun. So I talk to my sergeant. I approach him at a moment where he's taking a break too. I noticed that he's comfortable. He's approachable. I just simply let him know that, hey, sergeant, I would like to take leave, and this is what I'm working on right now. If you could please like update me on whatever information you get or help me get some assistance, that would be great. So my first sergeant sees us talking and he pulls me over to the side, and also my sergeant, he talks to us. And then he's just running off at the mouth, asking me questions like, why are you so ignorant about the work schedule? And I'm telling him, like, first sergeant, I don't get the work schedule. I don't know what the week is looking like. I'm just one of the soldiers on the ground. I am the hands. I am the body. I'm always moving. I don't have no intellectual value or space within this organization. I am just a physical body. And I didn't say it like that. And neither did he call me straight up ignorant. But he's like, why would you do it at this time? So I explained it. You know, first sergeant, I'm not privy to that type of information. Let me tell you what my work day looks like. I am in the field. When you all need a task done, I physically go complete that task. I am not in the administrative sphere so much as you all are. So I just try to initiate the conversations today. That's what this is all about, you know. And he's just like, that's not true. You're always making excuses. How come you don't know? And you're saying you work so hard. We all work hard. And that's the type of tone, right? And so then he's like, why do you want to take leave on your birthday? Like, why is it so important for you to take leave right now? And I was like, first sergeant, this was my plan back in December. I had volunteered to stay at the company because we needed people to stay at the company. And I informed my leadership, that my direct leadership, that I would like to take leave for my birthday. That's been my whole thing. That's been a main talking point. Everybody knows that I want to take leave for my birthday. I want to go see my family. I want to take a break. That was my trade-off, right? And he's like, did they really know? Then why are you just bringing this up now and just complaining? Like, he was asking for excuses and I was giving him the excuses, like trying to explain my situation, and he's just invalidating everything. And so I get so frustrated, and not even frustrated. I get to the point, I'm like, first sergeant, why is it so hard to take care of me and not hard to take care of other people? And he's just like, because you're an inconvenience. Every time I tell you no, you get sad and you start being distant and trying to get your way and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the things that I am trying to do are literally for my mental health. This is what I'm thinking. Because at this point, I am realizing that the conversation is not productive. I'm in an unsafe space and I need to close my mouth and just, like, I'm feeling embarrassed. I'm feeling like I don't know what to do at this moment, because I feel like all of this is unwarranted. Me asking to go on leave for my birthday to spend time with all of my family, my mom, like my dads, my grandparents. I'm asking to do this stuff. I'm asking to see my family, my sisters, my brothers, my cousins. I have been with y'all for 2 years and I have barely gone home. I went home once. So it all felt just unwarranted. I had to ask him, why is it so hard? Seriously, why am I getting chewed out about this? I know that other soldiers within this unit, they will not be getting chewed out. Like, I'm the only black girl within my unit. The other one is African, and she is more so upper echelon than I am. She is in their supply, in their orderly room. You know, I am one of their soldiers that they need to live through. Like, I am the main workforce. So they want me to tamper my personality down and my needs down. And I haven't figured out how to conduct myself professionally and respectfully in this organization. However, it's just like, I am an ambitious person. We have been at odds, and we have not found common ground about how I can pursue my personal goals, like college. We went to Poland, and the very first days he was there, he just got to our unit. He was there for like a week or two. We got to Poland, and we didn't have a work schedule. We didn't have a work routine yet. So a lot of people were sitting in their rooms, and all the girls were in their room this day. I happened to be doing college work. So he called all of us down. He was upset that we were not taking initiative or whatever. We barely had a workspace. We barely had an objective, right? He was upset by that we weren't working to his style, because we are his workforce. We are, the way he sees it, we are an extension of him. He asked us for our excuses, and I respectfully told him that, you know, I was doing college work. He told me that everybody's not doing college work, so you cannot be doing college work. I'm like, okay, cool. So I got to figure out how to do this on my own time. So I'm doing it on my own time. And the only other complaint I came up with was just sitting at work like for hours past a normal work time, and unnecessarily. And I would express my grievances not as respectfully as I do now. So that's the wrongdoing on my part. But I did have a grievance, and I expressed it, and I was not the only one. But I was the one that was targeted. So, and it had to do with me being college. Like, why are we getting off work at 1800, 1830 for no reason? We've been sitting around. You guys are not properly delegating tasks to us, telling us what the workday objective is. Like, this is a waste of time, and I need to go do this college so I can promote, right? They want everybody to, you know, progress and handle themselves professionally, right? So I'm just expressing, because I have learned from my previous battalion commander, a female white woman, very ambitious, very successful, that upper echelon, they need feedback from lower enlisted. So I'm doing my part, right? I'm thinking I'm doing my part. However, this is just a leadership that doesn't want to hear it. Different commander at the same time too. So while I'm in Poland, it's 9 months of this micromanagement, purposely jeopardizing soldiers' interests, right? So then we get back, and it's just tension. And this tension, it grows not only from my end, but from his end as well. It grows, and it's turning passive aggressive, and it's starting to bleed into every little thing that I touch and that he touches within the organization that has to do with our relationship. That's what leads to all of this. So it's just a lot, y'all. But I do believe that this is just racial discrimination, being harshly punished for something that my peers will not be punished for, being dehumanized, being treated like a slave. Like, how dare I ask to take leave? How dare I want to celebrate my birthday in my family that has struggled to survive in America? Like, all these years, my family is alive and well. Like, what do you mean? It's a celebration. I'm alive and well. Like, just a whole lot of conflict, a whole lot of resentment. However, there are resources for y'all, and I know that I'm not the only soldier that's going through this or that has went through this, because I am through it, and I have a little bit of fog in my mind, a heavy heart. So I wanted to come on here and share that there are resources for us Black women within the military. A lot of us, literally, it's all over TikTok, have expressed the same sentiments. And even at NTC, every person I ran into, they had a similar story. Every person of color. It's terrible. I really wish that there was more that the VA could do as far as PTSD, retribution for discrimination, racial discrimination especially. But they don't even deal with anything that has to do with discrimination, and that's very unfortunate, and it's very upsetting and disappointing considering where we come from. Like, we have, like, our ranks are made of mostly economically challenged people, underprivileged people, and racial discrimination is a burden. People have been targeted from the Vietnam Wars, the Great Wars, all of that. Our people have been targeted within this army, and it's not fair to just not have a special treatment for that, because it's serious. It's deeply psychologically damaging. It's stressful. It makes our job 2 times harder. So I'm passing a baton. This is how I see it, because as a Gen Z young Black woman, like, my perspective is the benefits are they are set in stone, right? They can be variable a little bit, like the TSP. The more money you put into it by staying longer, the better the benefit. TRICARE, the longer you stay in, you get older, your ailments start to appear, the more of a benefit or use you'll be able to get out of TRICARE. The GI Bill, one of them, actually the GI Bill in general, the longer you stay in, the more you can use your GI Bill. For example, you can pass your GI Bill down to your kids and not just benefit from it yourself. However, what you need as a Black woman, a part of Gen Z, like the younger generation, I'm 24, what I need is a foot up. If I'm coming from the lower class, I'm coming from poverty, and I have no resources beyond love and community and support, those type of things. I need material financial resources. My education, I got that. The moment I completed basic training in AIT, I got that. TRICARE, if I wanted to fix my teeth, I got that. I could do that within the first contract. The TSP, I wanted to save $100,000, I got that. I'm good. That was my number when I came in. And remember, you always got to remember, when you hustling, pick your number and be realistic about what you will need. I know my lifestyle and some projects that I may want to take advantage of in the future. This is my number that I would need to be able to support myself and even possibly pursue those. The VA loan, for example, if I wanted to pursue certain goals, one of them would be housing. When I get out of the military, I want to make sure that I don't have to go back to where I come from or my family home. I want to be able to support myself and my family. And what you need to be able to do that is foundation, literal foundation. If I want to build a home, I have the VA loan. If I want to buy a home, I have the VA loan. If I want to start a business, I have the VA loan. 0% down. As soon as I complete AIT and basic training, it's done. So you got these benefits, right? And I'm sure there are more. These are the top 3 that people are chasing. You got those benefits. The moment you step foot at your organization and you getting to work and you working, you better hope for a good experience, because if you do not have a good experience, you risk getting a dishonorable discharge, which is terrible for your career, even your civilian career. You risk getting injured, you risk your life on the job, you risk a lot of your personal time on the job. So all of these are risks, meaning you need to take a calculated risk before you even come into the Army. And I understand a lot of people don't even have the privilege to plot and strategize like this, but ideally this is what you need to do. I joined the Army when I was 21. I'm 24 now. I will be leaving the Army at 25. That's enough of my childhood, enough of my youth that I have given specifically to this, to 100% selfless service. I'm not gonna say like I don't appreciate this job and the experiences. I appreciate them so much. However, you got to remember you have a job to do, and that is to take care of you. You have a legacy to build, whether that's that has to do with kids or not. You have a community, a life, right? So this selfless service is so all-consuming. You need to be able to set aside the time to focus on this and decide on when your time to focus on something else as a Gen Z Black person. Because we got to be real. Our longevity as Black people is not very prominent in the corporate world. The military is shifting away from combat to corporate, right? That's what I've been told from my EO advisor yesterday. We actually just had this conversation. It's turning into a corporate environment, right? So the longevity for us here, given all that we have to face, is not very long. This is why you have to think like this. Know that someone will be trying to damage your career. Someone will be trying to get you kicked out of the organization. Someone will be trying to harm you emotionally, mentally. So it's like going into a war zone. You got to know what your objective is and get out alive and safe. You got your benefits, right? You have sacrificed your time. You have done your time. You get out and you have something to be able to add to your life and be able to take care of yourself and go back to these spaces, these Black safe spaces where you can flourish and you can thrive. That is what you do. That is my take on, you know, being in the Army as a Black woman. Now, some of us do make it in the corporate arena, and I'm not going to say that's not a path at all. That is a path, and I am so grateful that some of us do make it to the high ranks, and some of us are able to, you know, look back and pass the baton and be able to help the soldiers coming up, because it is a training, it is a programming to be able to thrive in these spaces, and you need support. So definitely have your mentors, have your plan, and be humble and be realistic. Like, and definitely use your resources. I understand we have a way of expressing ourselves, but keep in mind, these people don't humanize us. They dehumanize us. They don't want to hear our personal perspectives. They want to focus on our attributes, which we have to work 2 times harder to attain. We have to have 2 times more than anybody to be considered for anything nice. This is what they want to hear, right? Know that that's the type of environment that you are in. And if you have any trouble pursuing those objectives, then you need to rely on the resources that have been afforded by our ancestors who have fought, and even service members, allies from the past. They have fought for you to be able to use these resources, and it's really in your best interest to use these resources, because they will kick you out, girl. I heard just from my unit, right before I got there, they had kicked another Black girl out who was confident in her identity as a Black person. They had kicked that girl out because they didn't like her. And that's a hard pill to swallow. They will kick you out because they don't like you. This is why you have to have this type of plan. Or why I have to have this type of plan. This is why I'm getting out. I have enjoyed some things about the Army. It's only really one thing that I don't like about the Army. And it has nothing to do with politics. Like, it's literally just a strong dislike for something, and that is just high intensity running. I don't like that, but it is a part of our job, and it is a disqualifier for me. I am content with the benefits that I have came in here for. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I had the time and the privilege to be able to stay with my mom and strategize with people. I had a great mentor, what was he? Recruiter. I had a great recruiter. I knew what I wanted when I was unemployed before I joined the Army. I figured out my work style as a Black woman. I figured out that I am not going to commit myself fully to any organization or agency within the world. I want to collaborate because I already know that places in America, corporations in America have a hard time holding space for people like me, but I have things to offer, and I think they have the resources to be able to benefit me back. So we're going to collaborate. We're going to respectfully collaborate. So I'm thinking I'm going to collaborate with the Army. I knew I wanted the benefits. I knew that I would do one contract. And I knew that I was going to turn that into, that was going to be a starter, like step one for me. Because I can't depend. Think about it, as Black people, you know, most of us can't even really depend on our own parents and where we come from. Like our community, our foundation for all of the support that we need. We really, especially as Black women, we really all we got out here. So just, that's what I was thinking. You know, I'm already coming into it with this type of mindset. So I developed a plan. I have 1 year left, and I pray that my next unit is a safe space. I kind of already have an idea about what it is, but I hope it's a safer space. Either way, I have been properly and adequately educated on how to navigate corporate America. I have resources and support, so I'm gonna make it. And I just wanted to share these tips with you guys because some of you really appreciated my vulnerability over on TikTok at JKJ Lurking on TikTok. I talked about how the Army has impacted me personally. Go ahead and follow me over there if you like more short form content, beauty related content, joy related content, and support me over at jdeneatelier.shop if you want to support the discharge. Thank y'all for listening. Until next time, bye.